Speaking of military men with bad mustaches, we watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which just came out this past month of April of the year of our Lord, 2022.
Which Lord is that?
Good question. I will not answer this question.
I thought you were going to say Elon Musk, because he's literally trying to buy everything. And he's failing at all of it.
I hate Ogliarchs, in case I haven't mentioned that. It is a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog, which we talked about last month. It is directed once again by Jeff Fowler and written by Pat Casey, Josh Miller, and Josh Whittington, with basically the whole cast returning, with the addition of Idris Elba as Knuckles and Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, who I believe is the voice actress who does him in most of the games. Yep, she's the only cast member to come over from the games. It's a sequel to the last one. Basically, Eggman is trying to come back from the mushroom place, and he meets Knuckles, and he's like, I will show you the way to Sonic. And then they do a team up, and then...
Do you know the way?
They team up, and then Sonic, being Sonic, shows Knuckles the power of friendship, whilst Eggman shows Knuckles the power of betrayal. So then all of the animals and the cringy humans team up against the one cringy mustache man and his kaiju machine. And Sonic goes all Super Saiyan, and then the movie is over. The actual plot involves them going after the Chaos Emeralds, which are actually only one emerald because they put all the jewels into one big jewel. It's very, I'm assuming carries over from the games or whatever. But yeah, I think my general vibe off of this was it was less cringe-inducing than the previous movie, but it was definitely more boring. I don't know how to put it. I enjoyed my time a little bit more, and there was certainly a bit more care put into it, but this wasn't going to get much better.
So, I feel that I couldn't tell last night if it was because we watched it at different times so we could heckle less, but the theater was full of kids, and a lot of the jokes didn't get laughs. I think I heard one laugh through the whole movie. And there was one kid that was excited at like the Super Saiyan or whatever, like a big pivotal moment like that. But that was excitement. That wasn't laughter. There were no chuckles.
I think I laughed at 2 jokes. I do not remember which ones they were.
Yeah, I remember one getting me, but
one definitely got me. And then I think the other one was just the end bit on the baseball field with Knuckles. I just thought in general was mildly funny. I liked Idris Elba as Knuckles. He was a better addition than all of the humans combined, so that was a win.
I am kind of stealing this idea because I heard one comparison, but I'm expanding more. This is literally a Marvel movie. You have Knuckles, who's basically Drax. That's the idea that I heard. He takes everything literally for laughs that nobody gives. You have a dance-off with the Russians, Guardians of the Galaxy style. There are cracks about the Winter Soldier, Professor X, and I think there was somebody else mentioned directly. And Dr. Robotnik literally becomes Magneto for a part of the movie. Like, it's such a Marvel movie. Or it's trying to steal their thunder, maybe, but...
No real disagreement on that. That might be why I found it less cringy, was the references, which is mostly what the jokes are in both of these movies. They're not really jokes, they're references to other things. The references here were at least mostly to other movies or to actual Sonic lore rather than really old Reddit memes that weren't funny in the first place. On the one hand, I am very disappointed that there was only one Ugandan Knuckles joke and it was downplayed. I was actually pretty pissed. But on the other hand, I give them props for not leaning into it as like the only joke. Versus this movie regurgitated Sonic again, but the last movie was coated in Sonic and whatever else. Like, it's a bunch of Marvel references, but like they feel, I don't know, it feels less cynical than the first one, which really did feel like it was trying to be a cash cow. This one's like, okay, we know that we're not anything special, but we can probably mooch some thunder off of, the MCU without like literally ripping it off. Like, it's pretty obvious, but I don't think it doesn't feel disingenuous or anything weird. I just think it's lazy.
I still felt like I groaned a lot more in this one.
Really?
Than the first one. Like, it's tough because if I had to rewatch one of them, I'd probably choose the first one because we would banter through it more. So this one's better made but less enjoyable?
Maybe. It might just be the fact that we watched the first one together and the second one separately. Because I think we would have bantered a lot through this. I kept looking over to the seat next to me and remembering it was empty and then just taking another sip of my drink.
People are definitely going to think we're a couple. I know for a fact we'd banter through this one too, but I think it's easier to rip the first one apart. I think this one looks better. It's slightly better. It's got slightly better writing, but it's no less cringeworthy. I guess is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I will definitely say on the visual end it did improve a lot in terms of the obvious. We didn't have to rush change of character models during production type crap. Most of it doesn't look like phenomenal, but the characters look good. Again, they actually interact with the world a bit more, and it doesn't look as disconnected as it did previously. Also, the fact that there are just less humans in this movie up until I think around the midpoint is just massively enjoyable for me.
Yeah,
easily the worst part. We talked about the last movie like it's watching the Smurfs. Like, just do a fully animated movie with no humans. This is dumb.
Seriously.
Except Jim Carrey. Let him do his thing. Whatever, fine. But they're still there, but they're not as bad. But also they're like family, and the emotional
that line was in there too. And I was like, oh, Vin Diesel, where you at?
I legitimately thought about like yelling in the theater because it was filled with like 14-year-olds who I knew would get my joke, but I didn't. I was a respectful theater goer. It tries to pull more emotional weight, but also it's like, wait, so Sonic has daddy problems now? And
but also fart jokes.
Yeah, it's like really, like the Donut Lord's wife is like, oh my gosh, that's our son. It's like, no one cares about this couple at all. And I really don't care about their relationship to Sonic.
That opening scene on the lake where it's like, I wanted you as a friend, not a dad. It was like, really?
That was when I started drinking.
Yeah.
Like, you just please move away from this and just give me the funny animals and their like funny animalisms. I don't know.
Back on the visuals, there were a couple of times where a portion of the screen was, clearly CG'd and it had humans in the picture, but they looked like they were 240p. It was really weird. They were really fuzzy during a couple of shots, and it just seemed really odd to me that the real thing looked the worst in the frame. It happened a couple times through the movie, and it had me confused. I couldn't tell with this one if Jim Carrey was having fun or just cashing in. It kind of seemed like it was 50-50 sometimes. Like,
it's always pretty hard to tell.
Yeah.
Agent Stone was equally as obnoxious as he was in the first movie, yet more overtly gay. And I'm not sure how I feel about that whole thing. I don't know whether I should say it's just unfunny or if it's like kind of weird and bad. I don't know what they're trying to do with that.
Jim Carrey gets a color swapped outfit after he gets the power of the emerald and becomes Electro.
And he gets a voice modulator and he talks slower. Super exciting.
I really liked the outfit that was color swapped. It was...
Bro got the drib.
Definitely a real outfit, and it looked great, and it was a good contrast to the original outfit. He swaps back to that later in the same scene. It's like a side-by-side comparison almost, and it was like, wow, that looked really good. Nice job on the costumer.
My biggest "oh please kill me now" moment was the post-credit scene, where A, post-credit scene, and then B, they're bringing in Shadow. So another lacking in self-awareness. I'm 14 and this is deep character. He's Knuckles, but black. Like, that's it. Like, that's what he is in the fucking games too. And it's just like, really, guys?
It was literally the same scene as the first movie's post-credit scene. Like, come back next time to see this character.
Just... yeah.
I thought it was funny that Shamar Moore was in the movie just to be a sex idol. That
was kind of funny.
There was one scene where they had James Marsden dressed up like a wimp and they're playing volleyball, and Shamar Moore is kicking his ass in volleyball. So Shamar Moore throws his arms up in, I don't know what kind of pose you would call that. And
it's a double front bicep.
Okay. And James Marsden does the same thing, and he's kind of hiding some power under there. Like, he wasn't something to scoff at. It was just how they had him costumed, and I was kind of bummed. He got cheated this movie.
It's just a trope at this point. I was because he's the local yokel sheriff, whatever. Something I did notice, speaking of that, was Moore is very much so. How old is that motherfucker? He is like
55, I bet.
Something like that. He's definitely in his 50s.
Holy crap, he's older than my mom.
He is
52.
So the funny part for me was, as someone who's not good at it, but is into bodybuilding and whatever, it's so obvious that he's on roids. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't give a shit. It's just funny because, frankly, he looks good for being 52, but like, he doesn't look like a bodybuilder. He looks like a TV actor. But the funny part is he has some serious, what's called Palumboism going on in his midsection, because he's like diced to the gills. Like, he's shredded. His V taper's coming in like really hard, and his abs are out, whatever. But he still looks wide as hell in the torso, because it's almost like having a distended stomach. It's so funny. Like, it's not like bad. It just happens when you're on steroids, and particularly when you're older, you just get weird kind of like shapes in your midsection sometimes. It was just really funny because they're like, oh my gosh, look, he's so hot. I'm like, guys, it's a TV actor. Yeah. And his abs are about as wide as his back. Like, he doesn't look good. It was coincidentally funny for me because it's just like a really easy thing to critique. Like, holy cow, he could have just not been on cycle and he would have probably looked fine and he wouldn't be bloated like that. It's just minor thing I just chuckled at.
Tika Sumpter also got more screen time in this one than the last one. It seemed like she just popped in every once in a while in the first movie to be like, hi guys, you good? Okay, bye. And this one, she actually has a piece of the story. So
I found her to be twice as obnoxious in this one. And the obnoxious sister was twice as funny in this one.
I mean, we have backward taste. The obnoxious
I don't like either one of them. I think they're both annoying.
was driving me crazy because she kept using the same joke. I'm gonna get hammered at my wedding, and then the sister, first sister, the wife, I don't know, was like, no, we have to get shit done. Wow, still basic tropes, but I don't know. I thought it was nice that they included her more than the first movie.
I just don't care. I'm watching a movie about a blue electric hedgehog
Right.
from a video game I played like 10 years ago.
That just feeds back into the humans bad, Zoomies good.
Yeah, exactly.
We're here for Sonic, not
like the dance off wasn't that funny, but by the end of it, I was kind of chuckling because at first I was like, are you seriously about to use like a 5-year-old song? But then by the end, I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, oh, this movie used so many fucking pop songs. It's not even funny. I didn't think the first one did it too many times. It was just there because any movie, they just do it because it's easy and not cheap, but it's effective, I guess. This movie has like 15 pop songs in it, and they're all at least 5 years too old. It was really, really unfunny. And there was a flossing joke, which wasn't...
That made me want to jump off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean...
Jim Carrey flossing, please stop.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't supposed to be like unironically funny, but still, it's not a type of ironic joke you can really get away with. It's just not fun. It's like, he ironically dabbed. I don't care. It's still not funny. Can we move on from this? I just don't have much else.